A New York Stonewall Inn is one step closer to becoming a city landmark. The city's Landmarks Preservation Commission agreed today to hold a public hearing later this month and vote on the issue. The bar served as a flashpoint for riots and groundbreaking demonstrations that helped spark the gay rights movement more than 40 years ago. It would be the first landmark honored for its role in the city's LGBT history. Michael Musto is here with me. He's a columnist for Out.com and a famous New Yorker.
Thank you.
It's good to see you, Michael.
Iconic, I prefer.
Thank you for being here. Well, talk about the significance of this building.
It's really important. This is the hub of the modern LGBT movement. On June 28, 1969, this is when the police came to do one of their many raids. Of course, they always raid nightlife, but the LGBT nightlife was especially targeted. It was illegal to be gay, and it was not popular to be gay. And this was the time the gays fought back, and they were not going to take any more oppression, and so it became a defining moment. Not only on that night did they fight back, and by the way, it was a group of drag queens, transsexuals, lesbians, gay men, homeless gays, really oppressed, fringed, disenfranchised people. But they fought back that week. They had another rally, protest / riot the next night, and continuing through the week. And as a result of that, there were major changes in the way the gay community was viewed.
So what would it mean if it becomes a landmark?
It'll mean that we recognize the importance of this place, that this is the transitional place where gays went from being illegal, oppressed, and put down to fighting back and gaining momentum as a community. As a result of the Stonewall riots, we had publications that arose and organizations, activist groups. It really became a community because no longer did we have to hide in the shadows.
So there's no other place really in the country that compares, in your opinion?
I think this is the most important edifice or structure in terms of the gay movement in the entire world.
It was a Chinese restaurant for a little while, wasn't it?
And that was important. They had great chow mein. But I never said we should landmark that. Right now it's a bar.
Right.
It's not particularly important right now, except that it's a fun bar where they have some interesting events. But it's what it represents.
Is it busy? Does it do well as a business?
It does.
It does.
And some of the people there have no idea of the historical significance, but that doesn't take away from that.
You know, can we talk a little bit about the movement and the last 46 years since Stonewall? That's a long time.
Yes.
But do you feel as if that the movement has moved quickly in that time?
It's really taken baby steps, and now it's starting to move faster and faster because of the momentum. But at that time, when I was just a kid in school and I wasn't really aware of Stonewall, a lot of the issues that are being addressed now were not even on the table. Nobody was talking about gay marriage. If you held hands, if a same-sex couple held hands on Christopher Street in Greenwich Village in New York, they were arrested on sight. So naturally, nobody was talking about gay marriage. So when you think about going forward 40 years later, gays in the military, gay marriage, all kinds of protections against hate crimes and things that are developing. It's really tremendous, the progress that's been made.
Progress in cities like New York and San Francisco and Los Angeles, other big cities in the United States. But do you think the rest of the country has moved with those cities?
If you listen to the polls that are not just urban polls, people are getting on board. The Supreme Court is currently evaluating gay marriage for the whole country. The whole country's changing. I don't want to just target red states and say there are people who are out of it or not aboard this bandwagon, because the whole country's changing. It's a real sea change, and we're going to look back and say it was illegal to hold hands.
So if the Supreme Court says gay marriage is legal across the United States, what other important issues are there for the gay community?
Well, I always thought it was weird that marriage and military were the two things we're fighting for. Those are the last two things I want for myself. I do want them for the community, and they're important as linchpins of our movement for equal rights. But to me, they're very incarcerating institutions.
What else is important?
Protections at the workplace against discrimination, protections against hate crimes, and the right color scheme in your apartment, I think. No?
But what else has to, what legally do you think needs to happen in this country? How do you get those protections?
Well, the importance of marriage, for example, is not just something symbolic. It's something that needs to be put on paper, because there are specific rights when it comes to marriage. And that's why it's so important to the gay community. But at the workplace, protection against discrimination and really in every aspect of everyday life.
Well, Michael Musto, it is great to see you. We'll find out whether Stonewall becomes a landmark in New York. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us. And that's our broadcast. We thank you for watching. I'm John Sigenthaler. I'll see you.